What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dads Against the Narrative podcast, where we cut through the noise, challenge the status quo, and talk real talk about life, family, and the world around us. I'm one of your hosts, Nate Feathers. You might know me better as Dads Don't Babysit on Instagram. I'm here with my co-host, Jack Nofel, better known as Natural Born Father, straight out of Mexico. We are glad you guys are here with us. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you know what we're up to on YouTube. That's also the place where you can see our handsome and stunning faces if you're wanting to follow along there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share what we're doing here, as we need you guys to get the word out to as many fathers as possible so we can get them, wake them up, shake them up, and get them thinking a little bit more critically about becoming the best men they can be, as well as best husbands and fathers that they can be. Guys, we're glad you're here. Jack, what's up, man?
Bro, this is good. It was a month off, guys. Sorry if you were waiting for a new episode to pop out, but things have been wild in my life down here in Mexico. And as Nate slowed down, I sped up in a hurry, and it was very unexpected. But we are back, and it feels good to just see Nate's face. It is good to talk to you, bro. And it's like last night we were just talking about this, guys. It was like we haven't spoken so long. It felt like it was like I missed a family member. Like, damn, man, this is great. You know, you don't realize it until it's gone, and then you're like, hold on,
Yeah.
I did miss this.
Yeah. And then what happens is like the time goes by. It feels like time goes by slowly. Like, the days are long and the years are short, is what they say. But it feels like, you know, like things are going crazy. Like when you're busy, you turn around and you're like, holy shit, it's been a month. Like that's crazy. I can't even believe it's been a month. But I mean, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Especially with your
So,
kids, right? You're like, holy shit, like they're five? No, what's going on? I mean, that's how I feel inside.
I
And it
mean,
feels it's
yeah,
just rolling downhill faster and faster with every kid we have.
yeah. Last month, my one son turned 6. Next month, my other one turns 2, and it's like, man, how the hell I'm a father for 6 years? I mean, for you, it's like 23, and that's like crazy, right? So for me, 6 years is a lot. I'm like, man, I never imagined at 38 I was gonna start having kids, and here I am, loving it, loving every part of it, and that's a big part why I haven't been around too. It's um, I've been doing the warrior path thing. I've been doing all of that, which I have some funny story there, but I'm not gonna share it on the podcast unless you guys. Should I share it? Should I share why I lost the clients?
Oh, shit.
All right, guys. I'm gonna give you a quick story, and it shows a closed mind, and that's the only reason I'm gonna show it is if you follow me on Instagram, Natural Born Dad. I speak a lot like we speak here on Dads Against the Narrative. I talk my truth, my opinion, and a lot of times my opinion leads to me with the unknown. I don't have to have an answer, but I often speak about the Jewish supremacy. One of my best friends is Jewish. I'm not talking about the Jewish civilians. Just like when I talk about America being shit, I'm talking about Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is what ruins the entire fucking population, but it doesn't mean Americans are bad. Well, I had a Jewish client where they were my private client, and I had one that wasn't a private client. And guess what? They found my social media after they've been with me for 6 months, and I'm with their kids by myself all the time, and every time they're like, man, my son is getting better and better, and or the other ladies like, my kids are just loving you and this, because I don't bring politics or my points of view to training kids. I'm teaching them discipline, leadership, accountability, right? And so it was kind of like a shock, like, is this serious? Like, you love me, your kids love me, you're gonna look at my social media and then you're gonna take offense and probably didn't listen to the whole damn thing. You probably saw like one reel and was just like, nope, this guy is anti-Semitic or whatever everyone says now. Which I guess if I'm anti-Semitic, cool, but like that doesn't bother me if you call me it. It's just like if we're open-minded, they would have spoken to me. Instead, they just text and they're like, thank you for everything you've done. We're done with the Warrior Kid Club. That's it.
That's all you got?
That's all we got. Thank you, my kid. It was a great time, but we're gonna be done with it, and that's it. Nothing else. And then I'm like, that doesn't sit right. So I went to my wife. I'm like, they must have found my social media. I don't tell people my social media in person because if you meet me in person, you have a whole different perspective of me than my social media, where I speak like the podcast. I
Right.
cover things that are very controversial, and it's like a little bit. It's speculation. A lot of my things. So just like the show speculation. And it's like, we dig into it. And if they would just ask me, even the Jewish family, they would have been like, they would have realized I have nothing. I'm not bringing natural born dad to your kids. I'm bringing retired military Jack to your kids because those are two different people, two different personas, you know? And so it was pretty wild that that happened last month. I lost 4 kids because of that. But I also picked up more kids, of course, because I'm always growing. But who knows? I live in a small town and they probably are just like talking
It
about me
happens.
now. But it's all right.
I got we got another friend. I won't mention him because I don't want to do that. But like, you know who he is. But like, he lost a client for his political thoughts and beliefs as well. And I think I think my biggest frustration with that is like watching how much division is caused by that. Like, I I guess I can't. I don't know. And like, it's not just political. Like, because obviously that's not political. Like, some like um that's more belief based. But I agree with you. Like, if you drill down to it, it's not like you're not sitting there going, it's the Jews. Like, you're not like, it's the Jews. You're saying there is a small group of people who are Jewish or claim this, which in my opinion, the Jewish people should be like, stop fucking doing that. Stop acting like you're Jewish. Stop saying you're Jewish and then doing all this bullshit. Like, right? Like, is that it's like there's a small group of people that are doing this, and they have a Jewish background or Jewish whatever it is, but it's not like the full thing, right? Like, I bet right now we're dealing with, the biggest thing in America right now is obviously the war in Iran, and I'm assuming that's everybody's thing. But my opinion is, if I met Iranian people, I wouldn't be like, I hate that guy. You know what I mean? Unless he's a douche. Like, at that point, you're like, well, this guy. And there's douches in all areas, right? That like, you could be a rich douche, you could be an American douche. Like, there's plenty of people who are just shitbag people, and it's just because they're shitbag, not because they're a certain culture. I bet if you go over there, and like, if I were to go there, I could probably get in touch with Iranian people and have a lot in common with them. We'd probably find out that they just want to raise their kids in peace. They want to have the life they want to live, and they want to be left the hell alone. Oh
I
my
mean,
God, that's exactly
yeah.
what I'm like, looking for land here, because I'm like, I want to raise my kids in peace. I want to be around them. I want to have the stuff I want and have the freedoms and whatever else that looks like, and leave me the fuck alone. We probably have a lot more in common with that's the way it is probably with the Lebanese people. That's the way it is, I bet, with Canadian people. Anywhere you go, that's probably because there's something in our spirits as humans that's like, I'm supposed to be this way. And then you have people who are drawn to power are usually like underneath. They might look nice on the outside, but they're just shitty, fucking evil people on the inside, and they're drawn to power. And honestly, truth is, and I've heard Andy Frisella say this on the Real AF podcast, good people have a tendency to not want to be in a position of power because it's not a responsibility thing, but they're just like, yeah, I just don't want to do that. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be in this kind of. And then evil people are like, I want power. I want that. So they go to that and they get voted in because they lie and they have this certain face that makes them look like they're a good person. And then on the inside, they're not. And every leadership in every country deals with that right there. Instead,
Yeah.
that's my biggest frustration with what you're dealing with is that you never are sitting there saying, oh, it's all the Jews. It's the Jews. You know what I mean? You're actually saying this is a small group of Jewish people doing some shitty things running the world, and it's fucked up, and we need to stop this.
And we're all seeing it now. I mean, so it's not like everyone's blind. People
Right.
have woken up to like who runs the pharmaceutical companies? Jewish. Who runs Washington D.C.? Dual citizens of Israel. Jewish. It's like it
Yeah.
goes on and on. Who created a COVID vaccine and all the mRNA shit and all of the entire pandemic? Jewish. It always goes back to the same players, and it's like we're done with it. Who caused 9/11 to happen? I'm 100%. It's Jewish again. It probably Netanyahu actually. I mean, the guy's been as evil as can be. He's not even a. He's not like the thing is when people are like, "Oh, you're going after Jews." He's fucking Polish. He's not even.
Right.
He converted. Like most of them are converted. They're not like the ones that they're like, "Oh, I'm right off the fucking Hebrew fucking,
Yeah.
like it makes just no fucking sense, bro. Like you guys are not from that area. You aren't from there. You guys are all converting, and then you're saying that you've been Jewish your whole life. And then you're claiming that you're God's chosen people after you convert. Like, what the fuck is that? And everyone's sick of hearing the God's chosen people. And the Americans, we're all fed up because every fucking thing. Iran war is not our war. That's Israel's war. And then they go bomb everyone. And then they keep making fucking Trump look like a clown, dude. He's like, you are not allowed to bomb Lebanon. The US says no. And then the very next day they're bombing Lebanon again. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck. And then they did the same thing with Iran. And he's just showing himself to be more of a fucking puppet to a certain small group that all ends up to be Jewish. So it's like, I'm just sick of it, man. And then when you look at our fucking textbooks, who wrote the textbooks that we grew up with? Robert Maxwell. The
Dude.
Maxwell Production Company is Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Jewish.
Yeah. Who
So how
is
do you,
is Mossad? Like he was
he's 100% Mossad. Yeah.
Mossad. So you're like, wait. And here's the thing, man. I've heard plenty of times where they're like, yeah, you can go all the way, go back to any newscaster. They were CIA operatives who were, in those roles to propagate whatever they were trying to. I'm like, all like Walter Cronkite, CIA agent. Like this kind of stuff is out there where you can be like, okay, he's long gone. So now it doesn't matter. So yeah, fine. We don't need to classify that anymore. But once you know that, it's like, well, what about today? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, dude. Like the textbooks were written by him. Were written by Maxwell. And I look at what we learned, and I've heard this. I know it was you. I know you did this real. I know you did. But it was, how is it that we've heard about this? And there's death is not okay, right? Genocide is not okay. So hear that off the front end. But how is it that all we've ever heard about growing up, if you're a Gen Xer or a millennial, that all you ever heard about growing up was 6 million Jews being killed by Hitler, but you never heard about the Bolshevik Revolution and the hundreds of millions of Christians killed by, the Bolsheviks were Jewish or claimed to be, by Jewish communists in Russia. I mean, seriously, you're talking 60 million to 100 million. So you're looking at 10 times more or even above that number of this 6 million that we've heard over and over again.
And the crazy part is 6 million Jews didn't live in Europe at that time. 3 million did. So you're telling me they all regenerated and died twice. It makes no fucking sense. But the Red Cross says that 230,000 died. And it was from lice. It was not anything from gas. There's no gas. They tested it hundreds and hundreds of times. There's never been gas there. They built a chimney in Auschwitz after the war was over, like to sell it. But if you look at things, and let's do this really quick. Yeah. We're going to rewind for a second. Look at the Tsar. The Tsars were in Russia, right? And we actually sided with them in World War I. And then the Tsars were overthrown by Jewish Bolsheviks, as we all know. That's where they fucking just start killing everybody. And then they took over, and then they killed 16 million Christians. Like, that was just okay. No one wants to talk about that. And then we're going to move from the Bolsheviks. We're going to move there, and we're going to go into Germany, right? We're just going to take over Germany now. And so that's what they did. And that was the Weimar Republic that people forget. So they left the Bolshevik Revolution, came over. So they're kind of split as Russia kind of took back their land and took back everything. They had to kick out all the fucking Jews. That's the only way. This is why Russia is so amazing today, because Putin's not playing that game. He's like, no, you are not invited here. You already ruined our country and killed half the damn people one time. We're not doing it again. And then what they do, they set themselves up perfectly to go in Germany. They declare war against Hitler after he says he's not going to do the usury. His people are not eating, they're not getting money, and they're not playing the bank game with them. And he kicked out the Rothschilds, right? And he wrote a note to them, and this note pissed them off, and they declared war. And it says it all over the United States newspapers and all over Europe's newspapers. There, you can trace back 20 newspapers easily. I'm sure it's probably even way more, but at least 20 articles I've read myself that says, in bold print, Judeo declares war on Germany, 1933. And that's before World War II starts. So what do you think they're going to do during that time, since they don't have a country? They're going to get their asses in every little nick and cranny corner of their country. They're going to do all their propaganda, right? And they're going to say, you know what? 6 million Jews. And they started the 6 million Jew things in 1910. It was like before World War I was over. Before World War I started, they were already talking about it. Yeah, because World War I was like 1914 to 1919. And so you're telling me these people are the good guys, but they spent 50 years telling you 60 million or 6 million Jews before the fucking World War II. And there's tons of articles about it, even in the the U.S. papers that showed it. And over, same thing. Worry about the 6 million Jews. There's 6 million Jews. So they were playing the long game. And that's the problem. They play the long game of manipulation just as Rockefeller did. And we watched what Rockefeller did. He's destroyed so much of the country. And the Rothschilds, they're all tied together. Just like the Titanic. When everyone's like, oh, the Titanic hit an iceberg. No, the fucking Titanic deliberately was crashed and fucking got rid of the other guys who didn't want to be part of the Federal Reserve, right? Because then it didn't exist. And then Woodrow Wilson came in, of course, this is before Titanic, and he started allowing them to have all of that. So when the Titanic happened, it was already like the Jews were controlling the United States. So when people are coming at me saying, oh, this is just recent, it's not. They've been in control of the United States for hundreds of years. And I've seen some facts about Abraham Lincoln speaking of removing the Jews. Abraham Lincoln also spoke about the things that me and Nate have spoken about, dragons and giants. Those were things he talked about. He also talked about the Moorish Empire. He also talked about Tartaria. So it's like these things Abraham Lincoln, our president, was talking about. And now I saw someone do a reel on tying this all together, where how Jews killed Lincoln and killed Kennedy. And that was like the last straw was Kennedy. It was like it closed the loop. And that was their full control. And who they blamed the whole time? Russians and communists. But the whole time, like, they're the most communist fucking people there is. Russia's not, like, yeah, I guess you could call it communist, but it's a very free country. People can go do so much. I have so many friends in Russia that are just like, bro, you've been got big time. And I'm like, fuck, well, tell me, teach me. And I'm like, I'm open to it, but other people just aren't open to listen to other sides now. It's so strange.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, when you mentioned Lincoln, the thing I was hearing is we say like, oh, greenbacks. Like we talk about the money, and they call them green. That's what they were calling it when Lincoln was going to be like Lincoln was literally doing what Hitler was doing in his own country. Lincoln was putting like taking like starting to work towards getting rid of usury, and he was trying to put the U.S. on its own dollar without the backing of this kind of setup, right? And the only other guy who did that was Kennedy, was doing the same thing at the same time, like obviously 100 years later. But you're looking at two guys trying to do the exact same thing that were assassinated. I mean,
So tell me the system's not rigged right there. They already had it rigged. And now
exactly,
we're
man.
paying 60% in tax. And people are
Exactly.
okay with that.
Oh, dude. My wife and I were just looking at the fact that there are 9 states now, and there used to be only 5. There are 9 states in the U.S. that don't have state income tax. We live in one of them. It's like I know it's. I didn't know it was Texas. Must be a newer one, but Texas doesn't. Nevada, Tennessee, New Hampshire, Wyoming, and Florida, and then there's 2 others that are newer to me, so I don't know those ones. But the thing is, it's like they don't like Texas doesn't charge personal or in or corporate taxes. And I was like, oh shoot, we got to look into that, right? Because Nevada never has. They charge tax on sales tax and gaming. And I'm like, well, that makes total sense. And so that's what like so Texas is taking that as well. I'm just looking at the fact that they charge so much tax. I got a major raise when I moved from Ohio, which had a 6% state tax, to Tennessee. I mean, I got a massive raise just by moving and not having to pay that anymore. But you talk about being free. I feel like if you're paying over 50% of your money that you earn off the sweat of your back, or like whatever you're doing, if you're paying that to somebody else, yeah, you're more of a slave than you are anything else. And that was the whole thing. If you can force people to keep their heads down, especially the men, you can force the men to keep their heads down and look at only the stress of their life to live and survive, then you can run all sorts of bullshit in the background and keep taking over and take and take and take. And dude, they're doing it right now. That's what it feels like. I mean, it doesn't feel like that. That's the play that's being run, is force their heads down by raising prices, like whatever it is. Whether you believe, like whether you feel, because I don't totally agree with Jack on Iran, but at the same time, and that's fine. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. Gas prices are going up, whether I agree with Jack or not. The gas prices are still that's where it's affecting me, and that's what pisses me off. Is like, okay, if my gas prices are going up, that means the guy that is transporting food, that means his prices are going up, which means the food is going to cost more. And I'm like, you just full circle coming back around to keeping us looking down at, like, and it's not even navel gazing. It's like protecting the family and keeping, like, how do I keep going? And how do I keep this family going? I think the biggest frustration I have with that is I make pretty good money doing what I do, and I still have to like go, I need to double my income just to get out from underneath the looking down. It's so annoying. It's so
And
frustrating.
remember, like when we were kids, dude, if a dad made 50,000, they were in good shape. 50,000 was like, oh my goodness. I remember my stepfather made 55,000. He's like, this is the kind of money you guys need to make when you're older.
Yeah. And now if you make,
55,000 is nothing. If you make 55,000, you're barely even able to get groceries.
dude, you're starving. And that's if you only have two kids. You know what I mean? Like I've got six, and surprise, I got one on the way. But like,
Hey,
so we're going to seven. Like I got seven. If this you cannot live with that much tax on you. And that is by design, in my opinion.
oh yeah, no, no. I mean, think about it. If they took over before the Civil War, which it shows they did. I mean, there's a lot of evidence. You have 200 years of being able to manipulate the system. So
Yeah.
much so that you can get to 60% taxing someone. And most people be like, no, we're not taxed 60%. It's 35%. Yeah, but they don't realize you're taxed when you die. You're taxed on house property tax. You're taxed at clothes. You're taxed at the grocery store. The tax is just fucking everywhere. It's like, oh, let's just throw some tax on there. And then let's money launder it through, I don't know, daycares, maybe through some hospice. Who knows? Because we're finding billions and billions of dollars right now in California, New York, Illinois. It's probably every fucking state. It's every state is doing money laundering through these things, daycare and hospice. I mean, it looks like that. It's why they didn't when you had, huh?
We're not mad enough. We're not mad enough. We
Oh,
should be
dude,
storming.
I was getting to that. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Because look at USAID. When they went through that whole thing, nothing came of it. Nothing. Epstein files, nothing came of it. So they just start throwing distractions. Here's NASA. NASA's back in the picture. We're going to the moon. We didn't have plans to go to the moon, but we're going to go to the moon all of a sudden. We're also going to start a war. We're also going to make sure Ukraine's still going. We're also going to remove cigarettes. Now cigarettes are going to be illegal. If you were born 2023 and above, you're not allowed to buy cigarettes for your whole life. That's a new law in UK. That's supposed to come here because nicotine blocks nanoreceptors of the mRNA vaccine. Yeah, let me tie that shit together for you guys. You're muted, bro. Oh wait, no, you're not muted. You were holding that shit in.
Before you do that, here's what I would say is like, look, I don't want to smoke. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't need the nicotine. I don't have to have it. I don't want to smoke. But it's the same thing as like I drive a 2017 Jeep. I fucking love it. Just took the tops off, took the doors off. It's like, yes, I'm loving it, right? But that motherfucker dings at me if I don't put my seatbelt on. Now, I want to wear my seatbelt. I want to wear it. But if I don't want to wear it, fuck you. I don't need something dinging at me the whole time to make me do something. I bought these little clips. They're little clips that you put in your seatbelt holder, like the seatbelt clicker, to like
Yeah.
shut the fucker up and not wear your seatbelt, right? In fact, you can get it on Amazon and they got a beer bottle opener. Again, not a great idea. Like, don't mix drinking and driving and not wearing a seatbelt. I still want to wear it, but I don't want to be told. That's the difference. Don't tell me like like if you start doing that, and this is where I'm all for the freedom side of it. I'm like, don't tell people they can't smoke. What are you doing? Like, if you are gonna make smoking illegal, like, do I want to sit in a restaurant where someone can smoke? No. I mean, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. They used to have a smoking section. You know
I
this.
know, crazy. That shit was awesome.
Dude, smoke
Wild.
in Pizza Hut. It was like I'd sit like then they'd seat us next to the pizza the smoking section. You're in the non-smoking section, and that smoke is like billowing over and like back down onto your pizza. You smelled like smoke, whether you liked it or not. Dude, I remember that, and like to this day, I'm like, oh, that's so gross. But don't make that illegal. If the dudes want to fucking smoke, what the hell? It's the same thing they did with alcohol, and I think they made alcohol legal again because it's an easy way to like make people docile and control them. It actually causes estrogen to rise in men, so their testosterone drops. Like there's all sorts of things that alcohol does to you too. That why not just make it legal and let people fuck themselves up? But I'm for the freedom side of it. I know you're getting ready to
Bro,
go with it, but
I was gonna say my stepfather. I remember I was a teenager, and I remember the law came out in Ohio because I'm also from Ohio. I'm from Cleveland, and so the law came out and it was like seatbelts are now the law, right? And it was like early '90s. And I remember my stepfather being like, "This is the first restriction that's going to take us further down the line of more restrictions." He's like, "I'm not wearing a seatbelt," and he had a '78 Bronco, the old nice ones that are badass, and all of our cars, it was the old cars didn't have that beeping shit. So we never wore seatbelts growing up ever. My kids, I live in Mexico. I don't wear a seatbelt ever. My kids don't go in car seats. My kids are not wearing seatbelts. They sit behind the adults, right? They're not allowed to sit in the middle. The old rules. Those are the old rules. If you're the smallest, you're not allowed to be in the middle. You could go flying through the windshield.
oh my god,
But bro, it's freedom. It's freedom. I get to make that choice for my family as the leader.
exactly. And you know what? I'm gonna tell I've told my kids to wear their seatbelt. It's not because it's dinging. The dinging drives me nuts, but now I found a way around it. And that's the thing that people will do. You had when alcohol was illegal, you had Al Capone, right? People are gonna do what they want to do, whether it's legal or not. And you like again, this is why government needs to be small, in my opinion. But that's why they're always trying to like figure out their ways to do shit to you, to keep your head down, to keep you feeling like you're like to push you down like, dude, and I know you were getting ready to say stuff about like the cigarette thing, so I do want to hear that. But I thought to myself, the first thought I had was, I don't want to smoke, but what the fuck are you doing? No, don't put laws in place like that.
Yeah. So the cigarettes, the funny part is cigarettes, what causes cancer is the paper. It's not nicotine. And now
Mhm.
that's like well known. Nicotine's actually good for you. And you see, or tobacco, I should say, not nicotine. Tobacco is good for you, like real tobacco. And if you guys have never, like snorted tobacco and done a ceremony at all, it's wild. It's a whole different thing because it's like clears all of your senses. I don't like it. I've only done it in ceremony because it's like part of like cleansing yourself before you allow yourself to go into DMT and go further into the ceremony. And yeah, it's tough. It is very tough, but it's supposed to be one of the healthiest cleanses you can have. Is this tobacco that you snort up, and it's horrible. I mean, it fucking burns. But any which way, I ended up buying tobacco pouches. The ones that Joe Rogan talks about are actually really good. I can't get them down here in Mexico, but there's a similar one. So I started like during the winter, I dip because they say like all the mRNA shit won't get to you if you're taking nicotine or tobacco, some type of tobacco, right? That's natural. And so all the cigarette smokers, if you notice during COVID, didn't get COVID. One of my best friends is a great example up in Cleveland. He
Yeah.
is a chain smoker. This guy wakes up and smokes three and then drinks a Coca-Cola and freaking out the door for construction work and shit. And he was not sick the whole time during COVID. He still doesn't get sick from like any of that shit. He's never had COVID. And he's like, he told me 5 years ago, he's like, dude, it's because I smoke cigarettes. I'm not gonna get COVID. I'm like, what the hell is that? He's like, I can't tie it together, but I know it has something to fucking do with me smoking cigarettes. Well, guess what? The science came out, and that was true. The nanotech technology, like I said earlier, can't attach to your body because the nicotine or the tobacco is going to block it. It blocks those receptors. So, like,
Hmm.
as it would normally attach, the nicotine's there as a wall, and it can't even go in to get into like your defensive system.
Of
Yeah,
course,
it's
they would make it illegal now. Then,
yes. So, like, when people are like, how many people have you talked to that are just like 2030 agenda is not real? And it's like, bro, did you not know who wrote that? Like Klaus Schwab and all of them said it. It's in his book. What are you talking about? Like the fucking Great Reset is his book. Klaus Schwab, like the most evil fucking man. And the problem is those are probably all still faces. It's still probably like the 13 big families, the Medicis and Rothschilds and JP Morgans and all of them who guess what they all are? Tied together into the Jewish cabal. Again, it always comes to the same players. So we're just wrapping this all up, this little section of today, because it's just, man, I've had it. I've had it. Like, we need to wake up and we need to say enough is enough. And if you're not seeing this and you're not open to it, I mean, guess who created vaccines? Guess what they were? Jewish. Guess who
quit
owns
it.
all the news stations? Jewish. It goes on and on. It's like everywhere you go, why is the same players? And it's like it's not the Jewish people, it's the Jewish supremacy. It's these people who are so rich and want power. Like you were saying, I love that thing about power because I heard that same episode on Andy Frisella on Real AF where he was talking about that. He's like, only the people who want power are the people who are fucking like Satanists.
Yeah.
And of course, and if you guys aren't tracking, like people are so blind to it. I mean, I saw this reel the other day where someone made like, I'm now becoming a Satanist, and it's like all the actors and athletes who've said this, like from Brad Pitt through all of them, man. It's crazy. LeBron James, Adam, and they've all said it somewhere, and then people just laugh in the room, but their faces are serious because they have to tell us what they're doing. So it's super wild that people are still like not pissed about the Epstein files and still denying half the shit. Like when we're finding out that vaccines are fucking people up, well, maybe we should stop taking vaccines. When we're finding out that it's wars for attrition rates of males that are healthy and strong, well, maybe we should stop going to fucking war so we can save our fucking young men from dying. So that way a generation can actually get their feet gripped into the ground and say, all right, here we are. But when you take away the men, and I know me and Nate have spoken of this before, you take away the men, you take away the strong men who have audacity, who have integrity, who are authentic. Those types of men are dangerous. They don't want you to have free thoughts. They don't want you to be able to think on your own. They don't even want you to think about your own thoughts. Like it's fucking wild. So, if that's what we need. We need some men to be strong. But the problem is like you said, men like you and I, we're raising families. And I'm still a true believer, like that's where the money is at, is raising families to the next generation. Don't let your kids join war. Maybe get the fuck out of the United States until it figures itself out, because the United States is just the United States right now. Everyone's laughing at the United States. Down here in Mexico, people are like, dude, Estados Unidos so loco, mucho loco, mucho loco. I'm like, see, that's why I live here, dude. It's crazy up there. People are, and you feel it. I've only been back to the States once in like the last 3 years. And the anxiety and the stress you feel by people is crazy compared to Mexico, because Mexico is so slow. It's family oriented. It's very fucking safe. It's the safest place
Yes.
I've ever lived. And in the Americas, you tell people that about the United States or in the United States, and they're like, oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. No, we were programmed. Everything that you think about is programming. Even like as a dad, I'm programming my kid. I'm his inner thoughts. I'm his inner
Yes.
mind. Like I'm programming him to have my morals, my values, my foundation.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, I'm not programmed, bro, we're all programmed. So am I. I'm still programmed. I need to figure that out. So we need to actually de-school ourselves, as me and Nate have also spoken about before. Forget what you were taught before and start just relearning. And if you have kids out there that are young, learn with them. They're the best to learn with. Like my 6-year-old, bro, he'll bring up things that are like, fuck, yeah, yeah, that's crazy, dude. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's just, we need to just start thinking differently.
absolutely, absolutely. And I'll talk it back in. Like I think it like I want to take it back a little bit, because I was thinking that as you were saying that, I'm like, if you like you said, if you can put the men down, and that's what's crazy to me is how much in the United States, how much culture has pushed men down for like decades. So the thing I always go back to is if you look back to the late 70s, early 80s and on, the men generally in a comedy are idiots, right? They're the buffoon. And what happens there is if you'll laugh at it first, then you'll accept it. And they did this. All right, listen, I'll say this. I thought Will and Grace was hilarious, but that was the first show where they brought a gay dude in, like where they had gay guys in it, right? And that was where I heard if you laugh at it first, if they can make you laugh at it, then they can get you to accept it. And then they can take you to the next level. And it's not that that is bad or wrong or however you want to put it. It's that one, that's how humans work. And if you don't know that about yourself, if you don't know that about humanity, and then also understand, okay, I have to be aware of this, then you will walk down that slippery slope. They just take a little bit. That's why when you talk about this crew that's had a chance to run the show for 200 years, Holy shit, man. If they teach they have programmed their children to do the exact same thing, right? Rich people teach their rich people teach their children differently than poor people because it's a different kind of programming. It's a different subconscious, it's a different everything. And so when you look at 200 years of being able to influence the powerful or be the powerful and influence the plebes, if you want to call it that, you have the ability to slow walk them down into depravity. When you take them to depravity, specifically the men, when you take them to depravity, you can crumble a society. And when you do that, now you can control. The hardest part I've always had a problem with is I just keep going, why? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to destroy the society? Why do you want to do like it doesn't make any sense? And the thing I have to come back to is I like a the best way I can put it is if you have any good in you whatsoever, you cannot understand the thoughts of a fully evil person. Those who are
Facts.
evil, like I can't put my morals on people doing shit and say, why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. It makes every bit of sense when you go, that person wants to watch the world burn. And I know that if I reference movies, everybody gets it. So if you've seen Batman, the Dark Knight, right? When he talks about the guy, uh he's talking about the guy that they met up with in Burma, and he was raiding the jewels from what they were mining out, and he said I we didn't understand why, and we were trying to figure out what he was doing, and then all of a sudden one day I realized that the robber, like he saw a kid with a ruby the size of a tangerine, and he's like, we realized that he did it for the sport of it. And he's like, some men just want to watch the world burn. And for those who don't want to watch the world burn, those who want to see the world and people succeed, who have love for humanity and love for their fellow man and their fellow like humanity, those people cannot and will never understand those who don't have that. Those who want to watch the world burn. That's why when guys are saying something about Satanism with a straight face, everyone around them laughs because they're like, I would only say that if I were joking. Yeah, but that
Yeah.
guy doesn't do that because he is fully evil. He does want bad things for everyone else because that gives him power and money and all the things he wants. And if he's willing to do that, he can have it. And so that's how he works. And that's so different than the normal societal human being. That's not how we're wired. They've had to like either had that put in them or they've had to undo all of the wiring and only have evil. And that is actually, I know that I grew up in the church, so I always bring it back to that, but when you look at Genesis 6, which let's be real, 6 chapters in to the whole like understanding of the universe and the world, 6 chapters in, God's already like, kind of regret doing this. You know what I mean? Like, and it literally said God regretted making man. When you look at chapter 6 of Genesis, it says that all the thoughts, when God saw that all the thoughts of man were always evil all the time, he knew he had to flood the earth. And he said, I regret making man. That is what we're talking about. We don't have, like, most people don't have all their thoughts evil all the time. But those who do, we can't understand them. We can't see it like
Yeah.
that.
100% agree. And you look back and it's like you see the evil shit that's happened, and how can you not say there's evil fucks in the world? And I've met guys, especially in the military, when the COVID was happening, I was calling um, hate crimes against humanity the worst ever. I was in the military as a captain, telling everyone this. So I was getting yelled at by my fucking commanding officer. Of course, I was going to see the colonel and the general all the time because I would speak out. And none of my soldiers got the vaccine until they were fucking forced it. But it's like, dude, I said it to this guy. He goes, Jack, I just don't believe that kind of evil exists in the world. And I'm like, dude, you need to wake the fuck up. You don't think there's that type of evil? You think 9/11 was a terrorist? No one fucking believes it's a terrorist. No one anymore. You ask anyway. I mean, me and you have done shows on 9/11. And it's like, no one believes 9/11 anymore. Like, no one's going to be like, oh, a terrorist did. Everyone's like, that was an inside job. That was a false flag move. Now, who was it? It's looking more and more all the time with all the evidence that it was the Jews. I mean, look at Silverstein and what buying the buildings, and we all see like who was involved, who benefited. Jews who were dancing, Jews. So it's like it goes back to them. And so, what is the bigger picture here? And if you look at the Great Reset book, it talks about the Greater Israel. And if you know what Greater Israel is, that means they get the control from the Mediterranean all the way over to, I don't know what that sea is over there.
Oh, I
Shit,
didn't.
pretty much past Iran. The whole fucking Middle East, pretty much, they want. They want the whole goddamn thing, which is crazy to me that people could think that. But that's exactly what they're doing. When you watch their actions, it matches it. And it's like when Netanyahu was going to get overthrown and get kicked out, what did he do? He let them come in from Gaza and say, "Oh, I guarantee that was his own fucking people. I guarantee." I mean, all of a sudden the guards didn't see it, and the greatest wall security they have, right? The Iron
Yeah.
Dome falls to fucking Neanderthals. Yeah, no, that was staged. That was 100% staged so they can commit genocide to the group of people so they can get more land. Same thing they just did with Lebanon. Bomb the shove the south of Lebanon nonstop. Remove the city names off the maps, which they did on Google now. And now we got great, right? And then what happens? You start destroying the world because they can keep pulling from us. If you ever read this quote from Benjamin Netanyahu in 1990, he said, we will pull every last penny and power from the United States because they're big, they're able to handle it, and we will control it. And that's not exactly, don't take me quoting, go look at the quote yourself, but that's basically what he's summarizing. And the guy was evil then, he's evil now. And what they talk about in the Agenda 2030 is a one world government. Well, how are we going to get to a one world government? We have to make the world fucking chaotic. And then who is going to control it? Who is the one world government? Guess who it is? Jews. There it is. All right, it's all out. So they have a bigger mission, and when they're the evil fucks that are running everything and are already in all these countries, they control all the banks, they control all the power because they control the banks. Well, what the fuck? Of course, they're on mission, and you are not going to get in their way because you're just a cattle to them. I mean, you are a cattle from the fucking day you're born to the day you die. They inject you when you're born, they tax you when you die. They think about that the whole time. You are just a consumer to them. You are nothing. They don't care if you die. Look at what they've done with these scientists. The one place they took out 5 fucking people or 10 people. They killed 10 to get to one scientist because they don't care. Same thing. They'll take down buildings like 9/11 because they don't give a shit. You are nothing. I am nothing.
They'll kill 1,500 people on a boat in the North Atlantic to get
Yeah.
kill 3. That's the whole deal. Like, and that's the thing is like when you see that, I'm like, I would never do that. That is not, it's not how I operate. That's not how I was taught. Like I was taught that to love for fellow man, all of these things that many good people are taught. But when good men do nothing, that is when evil rises and does what it wants. And that is the biggest thing is that like my oldest son said something the other day. He was talking to his sister and she was like, "You're really hateful," because he was talking about this kind of stuff and he was like, "I'm just frustrated and mad," and he was like, "You know what, if like," but he was also saying something about protecting the family, and I don't remember all the ins and outs, but it came back to him that he had this frustration and this anger about this feeling that like what he would do to people who would hurt his family. And his sister was like, "Well, that's really hateful and wrong." And I pulled him aside and I said, "The church will teach you that this is wrong because the church has been feminized very, very hard. But when you understand that that feeling you have is a protective feeling, that's a feeling from God. That is a godly feeling of protection. Like when God talks, like the Bible actually says, I hate these people. He says, I hate people who are, what is it? They thirst for blood and they want to hurt the innocent. And Jesus said, hey, like it would be better if we tied a millstone around your neck and tossed you into the sea than if you were to like cause any one of these innocent little ones to stumble. I mean, he's talking about children. So when I'm sitting here saying, nah, the people on the Epstein list, they need to die in a very public and horrifying fashion, that is and that was what he was talking about, I think is what it was. And she was like, oh, that's hateful and wrong. I'm like, dude, no one who is willing to do that to an innocent person, to do violence or anything like that to an innocent person, is no one deserves to fall asleep and then not wake up. They don't deserve a what is that kind of death penalty where they just put you to sleep. They basically just put you to sleep, and I'm totally blanking. My head.
Where they inject them?
Yeah, lethal injection. That's the one. So they don't deserve that because they violently hurt other people. And so then they just get to go to sleep. And that, I know I sound awful, but I used to be like, oh no, God's not for capital punishment. Are you kidding me? The God of the universe, of the Hebrew scriptures, the God of the Old Testament was like, hey, listen, when you go in here, you have to annihilate all the people. You can't even have the livestock. You have to kill all of the livestock because you can have nothing from them because of how evil they are. They will infiltrate you and they will cause you to be evil, right? And that's crazy, but they were also hurting children and doing wrong things. And I look at that and I go, we men need to stand up and go, I protect. And when good men go, yeah, I'm supposed to be strong and powerful and smart and question the narrative, all of these things, and I'm supposed to carry a big stick. I think that that's what has to happen. Is like, I walk around strapped, and it's one of those things where it's like I have all these crazy thoughts where I'm like, I had at one time where I was doing this walk away from my daughter was playing on the field. The boys were playing soccer. She was hanging out with a little girl. And I'm like, if someone rolled in there and I'm out here in the parking lot, I'm not close enough. Like, I can't even, like, that's how I work. And it's like, why am I so crazy? Well, I'm sorry, but that's how it has to be because I am in protect mode all the time because of the family I have.
Yeah.
And, and when good men do nothing, evil steps up and takes over. It's just how it works.
And this is why we have to teach our kids controlled violence. And I know people out there are going to be like, fucking Nate and Jack, they've been gone for a month and all of a sudden they're talking violent shit. I mean, guys, he's right. I mean, first of all, like, good men aren't stepping up at all. We're still listening to the guys who are eating fucking children and raping children. What the fuck is this about? Like, they're still taking the government seriously. How the fuck are you able to take that government serious when the Epstein files came out, telling us that these motherfuckers are eating and raping children? And then not only that, they're producing them. They got kids and they're fucking making they pay people to make babies, and then those are their babies to do whatever the fuck they want, and they think they can because as long as a baby is under the age of 3, it says in the not Talmud, is it the Talmud? Yeah, they can do whatever the fuck they want to a 3-year-old. Anything. Think about that kind of sick motherfucker. Tell me you don't feel violence in your heart, in your soul, like you just want to kill them. Not in a nice way, not in a slow, passionate way. I meant not in a slow, like, here, to just take an injection. No, 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 no. I'm talking about a nice, really fucking slow, year fucking plan that's going to hurt them over and over because anyone that's been part of that, they deserve the worst treatment. And it could be a wood chipper. I know that's a little bit faster, but that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, let's go feet first.
But I mean, definitely the good men out there, man, we need to start to stop listening to the government. The government right now is not for the people. It hasn't been for the people. And if you're someone out there who's like, Trump is for the people, no, he's not. He's fucking manipulated every which way, and I don't know why. And people are saying 5G chess and all this 5D chess, whatever the fuck it's called. Like, no, he's not doing that. Like, it's over. Have you not seen it? Because in Israel, they're calling him the Messiah. Did you see that? They have billboards of him like Jesus, just like the picture he posted where he came in. You saw that picture, right? And it's like, so they literally think that this one guy who's not supposed to be Jesus or not supposed to be Jewish is supposed to be like their next Messiah and a big leader and a big part of the Jewish world. And they said forever it's been Trump. Like, they have so much about it. And I've read into this further and further, and I can't believe people don't see this or have even heard this information because it's crazy. It is crazy that Israel is just like, yeah, Trump is for Israel first. And we see that every motion's been for them. And it's like, enough is enough. We need to stop listening to the government and we need to do what is right. And we need to do what is the hard thing, which is eating healthy, stop drinking alcohol, stop smoking weed, stop all the negative shit in your life. Just get in a path that is, making you a better person, a better human, but also, like, let's start talking values and morals in the household. Let's line our kids up with morals and values that are actually good. Not that they need to follow the government, but maybe we teach them hard skills like gardening, building their own homes, work on their own cars. So when they're in positions like that, they don't ever have to listen to the government. And maybe we need to make these micro communities that I talk about all the time that are sovereign communities. Maybe that's the future, that we need to get into these micro communities. Like, I wish Nate lived down here in Mexico. 100% our families would be together. My boys and your boys and the girls, but Destin loves to be by little girls. It's like, it's so weird to see a 6-year-old like naturally just attracted to girls, and he's like goes over and it's like he plays with them. Not that like he's like flirting or anything. It's just naturally he's like I like being by the girls, and but he loves playing with the boys more, right? It's just when he wants to take a break, he goes by the girls, and it's fun and it's super cute, and it's like it's the innocence. They took
Yeah.
away the innocence of children, and they did that over a long stretch from vaccines to every single thing that we've given them. And that's why we have to think about what we're feeding our kids, what they're drinking. They can't drink tap water. I mean, they have to like the air they breathe. We're everywhere we're getting poison, and our kids are the ones who are going to feel the effects more than us. So going forward, I definitely think good men stop listening to the government and start making the real morals and values in your house, because that's where we're going to make the change with these kids. Because if we have the good morals and values and we know the government doesn't, then why the fuck would we ever listen to them? And I always thought that as a kid. I mean, I also had a mom that was like, fuck the government, right? So my mom was already like, don't ever trust the government. They don't do anything for you. And so I just had that awesome mom that like saw the bigger picture of like, we were on welfare, we were poor in the fucking Cleveland in the fucking ghetto. And she's like, the government doesn't help us. I'm out here dancing, stripping, bartending to fucking make you guys survive. And I don't even think my sisters didn't even know any of that information. Because she told me when I was like at 20 years old, when my mom was like, go be a stripper. And before she died, she like told me all of these things. I was just like, wow, you're fucking, I can't believe you made that happen
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
And now it's my turn to be better than that. I have to be better than my mom. I have to be better than my dad. And my kids need to be better than me. And I'm not going to say each generation needs to keep getting better. We'll get to a point where it's like, it just is in harmony.
Sure.
And I'm not saying like balance is a real thing in life and everyone has to have balance and harmony, but there could be a harmony in the earth. That's called Christ consciousness. That's where we're all connected. And guess who talked about that? The Tartarian Empire and the Moorish Empire. Two empires that were the two biggest ones ever. And we don't know any of that in our history books. I think it's crazy. And as we're closing up, that's my final statement. Sorry guys, I could keep going because I missed Nate and I missed doing the show, but we're not here to just make you scared. We're here to give you actual evidence and give you a path forward of like what we think. Again, speculative, and it's our opinions where we should go to make this world a better place. And it needs to be more men like me and Nate that are connecting and saying, all right, man, I'm with you. I'm with you. What are you doing? And if you're one of those out there, like, yeah, I fucking feel that, we got something in store for you that's this is coming out next month. Something special that you need to stick around and find out because me and Nate have a plan for y'all. Nate, it's been awesome to be back, man. I've missed you, and close us out, brother.
I mean, I feel like it's the same close every time, and it's really this. You said it. I just want to reiterate it. There's never a time where becoming the best version of yourself, physically, mentally, socially, spiritually, there's never a time where continuing to grow in those areas to become the best possible version and better than yesterday, there's never a time where that doesn't serve you. So if you can do that and then just continue to be like, again, I mean, seriously, if evil men are drawn to power and that's what we see in the government, then you don't want to base your shit on them anyways. So base it on I'm striving to become the best human I could possibly become, putting love. I got a buddy who says I'm just trying to put love into the world. I love that. Just putting love and love and beauty into the world and making yourself the best possible version in every way, physically, mentally, financially, socially, spiritually, all of them. Pick a spot in your life and start there. My feeling is that if you can get discipline in your physical life and get discipline on the food you eat and the workouts that you're doing, if you start there, it will begin to affect every single part of your life. So start there if you need a place to start. Honestly, reach out to us. Both of us have ways of like different way. Like I think Jack just does calisthenics and body weight. I do like actual like free weights. So we do different things, but we're doing the same with the same intent. So reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you that way as well. So guys, that's my final piece. Get better, become the best you can possibly become. We'll see you
Thanks for
next
being
time.
here, guys. Nate, it was awesome as always. We'll be back next week, and keep up with us because it's gonna get crazy again. We're gonna bring back the show to a lot of people, and a lot of guests are gonna come back, guys. So stay with us, and next week we'll drop what the surprise is. All right, guys, take care. Later, Nate. Later, guy. Peace.